All right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Looks like we got this on and popping right now. So we got an interesting subject matter of hand that we're going to talk about today, and it consists of UFC Atlanta. While there was a protest going on in Atlanta at the same time. Now, obviously, this particular protest is bleeding over from Los Angeles. Obviously, the ICE raids that have been going on, and again, heated topic, a heated topic that almost feels like there is no right or wrong answer. And anybody that tells you they are right about this one particular answer of this question of what ICE is doing or this and that, I mean, I think they are sadly mistaken in terms of empathy, of not understanding what this may imply for other people, right? Also, just non empathetic, right? Because look, you can be for Trump, you can be for the immigration raids, you can be for law and order, right? In the name of law and order, as they say, when you want these laws implemented, you can be those people, but to not have a heart for the people that are, being deported and being separated from their families. I mean, that's another thing, right? And that's why this particular political uh, angle that many people are going at. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. Look. Here's the thing. The reason why I'm very reluctant in talking about this, even though I've made plenty of videos and live streams about the LA riots already, but the reason why I have a hard time really picking a definitive side is that, man, you know what? When families and kids are involved, it's hard to just think about law and order. I mean, look, you want to talk about something very American, right? Do you think that it was law and order for George Washington to stand up against the King of England, King George at the time? I mean, was that not revolutionary? Was that not going up against an entity that basically provided for you, right? Because if you look at all this land, or at least in the East Coast during the 17 or the 1800s, those were all British territories. If not in the North, you had a lot of French territories in that area as well. Uh, but you're raising up against them. Imagine this, your POV right now, you are George Washington, okay? And your POV right now is that you are living in the 1700s and you are disgruntled by the British government, by the crown, the royal family, and the institution of Great Britain running America, or what it is that we know as America right now. Imagine that you are George Washington, right? He rose up and stood up against an entity, or what you would call an institution that was running this place, only to implement his own institution, which is that of America. So, what I'm trying to say is that America, in and of itself, Jorge 100 says hello. How are you, Jorge? Nice to meet you, my man. I think this is the first time that I've seen you in this chat. Welcome, everybody around the world. Give a warm welcome to Jorge. But also, please hit the like and subscribe button, because we're going to talk about some really highly debated topics. Ali says, hi, how are you guys? Let me know what part of the world you guys are from as we are broadcasting this live stream right now. Alariza from Iran says, hi, how are you? I hope everything is all right in your part of the world. Obviously, I know that you live in Iran. So as a result of that, I think, I hope everything is good with you. Are you a YouTuber? Well, I am on YouTube, so that does classify me as a YouTuber. I do have quite a good amount of audience now that I'm building up. So with that in mind, yeah, be one of them. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will entertain you on these subject matters of hand with the UFC, with geopolitics, with California politics, both street, municipal, and everything in between, state government, and all of that. Because, guys, we're in for a ride right now. So UFC Atlanta Fight Week. Now they got a protest going on in Atlanta at the same time. I thought to myself, you know what? Why not just go out there and correlate these two stories together. Now, obviously, there's not anything going on in terms of rioting uh, you know, um, in Atlanta or anything like that. Do you want me to send you $50? Sure, yeah, that would be absolutely awesome of you if you don't mind. That would be great, my man. I would be honored if you did. So now we got to understand something, right? This topic of the immigrations and families being separated and this and that, it's a highly contested subject, right? And it almost makes me feel like there is no right or wrong. But then at the same time, what is right or wrong when I'm giving you the quintessential example of George Washington, right? George Washington was in the wrong when he stood up against the British government because that was the law back then. That was the law now. You don't raise your hand against the crown or the British government, but it is a different time. Uh, Jorge asks, "What are you doing?" What am I doing? Doing a live stream with you wonderful people talking about MMA and talking about politics and well, you guys let me know what part of the world you are from, what city you are in, and let me know how you are affected by these current ICE raids that are going on right now. So I just thought it would be an interesting conversation to bring forth, right? Also, at the same time, I don't know if you're hearing this in the background. I'm also playing a video game while talking to you guys at the same time, although the video game is not necessarily being broadcasted in the current moment of time. So let's see here. So hold on just a second. Let me see here. Okay. So I'm gonna take a look at the UFC card that we have right now. Now I did a full card prediction on the UFC already, right? So if you guys want to check out the full card prediction that I did for Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, full card, Rose Namajunas taking on Miranda Maverick in the co-main event slot, Edmund Shabazian taking on Andre Petrosky in that particular spot as well. So I have all of the predictions on that. You guys can go check it out. But what we have going on right now is just more of a preview and also covering the Atlanta riots, or at least the protests that are going on right now. Let's see if we have any footage of that particular incident going on right now. Let's see here. News about Atlanta protests against raids across the USA updated. Okay, so ICE erupts in Atlanta, 6 arrested. Okay, let's check this out.
I chose Wix for my business.
All right, let's.
Here on the East Coast, and welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Right now, I want to head out to the peach state of Georgia. In Brookhaven, 6 people were arrested during an anti-ICE protest. Police saying the protesters damaged 3 squad cars as they threw rocks and set off fireworks. Officers using tear gas to disperse the crowd. Right now, we're going to check in with Fox 5 Atlanta's Mark Teichner. He joins us live in Brookhaven.
All right, so it's absolutely going down right now in Atlanta, in the district of Brookhaven, to be exact. So
Haven with this developing story. Mark, good morning. Yeah, good morning, Brookhaven, a suburb of Atlanta, and the police here.
Okay, so to be perfectly clear, Brookhaven is a suburb of Atlanta, just so that we're clear. Okay, but okay, go on.
Found out about this protest, and they contacted the organizers and said everything had to wrap up by 9:30 last night. Well, the organizers agreed, and they actually left at 9 o'clock. It was some remaining stragglers that stayed and ended up in a confrontation with law enforcement.
Okay, so very similar to LA, right? Obviously, there was a confrontation going on with law enforcement. But what else is new in that particular regard, right? Obviously, tensions are high. People are angry. People are upset. So ultimately that is what is going to happen. But all right, let's continue on with the story.
Protesters set off fireworks as law enforcement break up an anti-ICE rally in Brookhaven. We watched as officers physically moved a woman from the area. Brookhaven police say in addition to lighting the fireworks, the protesters threw rocks, damaging 3 squad cars by smashing their windows. Police arrested 6 people and used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Earlier, before the time organizers and police agreed the protest would come to an end, the crowd chanted in both.
Okay, so look, this is where this particular issue is a highly contested matter at hand, right? So on the one hand, you know that the kids are going to be separated from their families. But the other argument that you have on that particular matter goes as follows. Well, you know what? You should have never broken the law in the first place. And that's where this conversation gets really hard and difficult. You know what I mean? That's where this conversation doesn't get easier for anybody, right? And you don't win any fans, you don't win any heartstrings one way or the other, or maybe you do, but you know it's still a highly contested issue nonetheless.
English and Spanish, many of them waving Mexican flags. They deported my grandpa last night. They raided his house for no reason. This man, who is a U.S. citizen, came out because after working here for 25 years, came out because after work.
This guy, right?
For no reason. This man. They raided his house for no reason. This man, who is a U.S. citizen, came out because after working here for 25.
Well, he says that they raided him for no reason. I mean, I don't know if that's the case or this and that. Man, I don't know, man. You know what? That's what makes this particular topic really difficult.
5 years, his grandfather was just deported. My people are protesting, and I'm so proud of them because at the end of the day, these people don't know what we're going through. Struggling, building houses, cutting everybody's grass, making this America rich. One of those who was arrested.
You know, he made one good point there that I really would like to point out, right? He said, man, people out there don't know what we're going through. Okay, that's an important point to understand, right? You don't know what they're going through. You know what? I can sit here and say, well, you know what? I understand what they're going through because I work hard or this and that, right? But you know what? I never had any immigration problems or anything like that. I've always had, you know, my papers intact. I've always had everything that I needed in terms of proving why I should be here, this, that, and the other. But I don't know, man. You know what? It's not an easy subject to get into, right? Once again, look, I'm going to talk about this for, you know, maybe, you know, a couple more times. We'll get to it. But you know what? Right now, I really wanted to get into the UFC Atlanta, right? Which is the main event between Usman and Joaquin Buckley. Okay, now what's really interesting about this main event is that right now you got 2 guys that are highly experienced, right? Very identical records, but both of their journeys are very contrasting from one another. Okay, Kamaru Usman was a prospect that was highly avoidable. Joaquin Buckley was a prospect at one point of his career, but he was a prospect that just had exciting fights, put on viral moments like that kick that he had against Umpa Asungai. But when it was Kamaru Usman's particular career trajectory, okay, this is where it's a little bit different, and this is where my decision on where this main event is going to go sort of lies at, which is the experience of Kamaru Usman. Now, what sort of experience are we looking at with Kamaru Usman? The type of experience we're looking at are championship levels. Marty Miller, what's up, my man? How are you? Shout outs to Marty Miller in the house right now, my moderator, my newly moderator that I modified as a moderator a couple of days ago. So shout out to you, my man. I hope everything is going well in your side of Ohio. Now, I said I was going to go back and forth with the UFC Atlanta card going on right now, which sort of correlates one to the other because now they're having a protest in the site of Fight Week for UFC, which is in Atlanta. So I thought that was interesting to sort of bring that up. Buckley seems nervous in the face-offs, as well as he should, which sort of segues me into this topic at hand with the experience level that Kamaru Usman is. Buck is going to win by KO. B Fairchild says, not so fast. I'll tell you what, man. My prediction, my final prediction, or my last minute prediction is going to go with Kamaru Usman. I don't think Joaquin Buckley has the experience that Kamaru Usman has, right? And even Kamaru Usman said it in the media week, okay, during Thursday, I believe, or was it Wednesday, where, hello, Big Ink MMA, shout out to you, my man. How are you? Shout out to Big Ink MMA in the house. Kamzat would maul Buck. For sure he would. For sure he would. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But speaking of Kamzat, that is one of the connecting dots to this particular fight. Because you see what you have is a fight with Kamaru Usman and how he did against Kamzat. And let's take a look at that. I'm doing great. How you been? Very good, my man. Very good. Very positive, very beautiful, weekend of fights. Obviously, the world is going to explode, and we got some exciting fights to go along with it. So, it's hard to complain, isn't it? You know what I mean? You got the world blowing up, literally and figuratively speaking, and then you also got MMA all over the world blowing up in its own way. It's a beautiful thing to witness, man. But on any regard, so what we got with Kamaru Usman is somebody that has fought in championship levels. Okay, he's taken on uh, Colby Covington. We know that Colby Covington got knocked out by Joaquin Buckley, but that was within the third round. And remember, this is a 5-round fight. So if this fight gets closer to the third round, to the fourth round, and now we're in the fifth round, guess who is going to have the wrestling dominance, the wrestling stamina? And for those of you that wrestled, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Big Ink MMA says MMA, the only hope we got right now. For real, for real. At least a good escape, right? I want you guys to understand something, right? I got a buddy of mine. Well, he was a classmate of mine, okay? He's like, now he became like a staunch white nationalist. I don't want to mention his name because, he's not a media guy, right? He doesn't get on YouTube or anything like that. But what I wanted to say about this guy was that he always emphasizes and says, well, you know what? Sports are a very useless thing because of this, that, and the other. We have a lot of things to worry about in the world. We got a lot of, a lot of crazy situations going on in our country that we need to care about. And he's right about that. But I also do believe that a little escape doesn't hurt. And you know what? MMA, I think, is the closest thing to a sport that not only bridges that time and break away from the craziness that is going on around the world, but it also is a gateway to many subject matters at hand when it comes to geopolitics, this, that, and the other, right? You look at the MMA community, the MMA community is not a shut up and just dribble type of sporting culture the way that, let's say, basketball is, right? That has a little bit of a woke element to it. So as you see, it's very different, right? So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. So that's right, Ank MMA. Marty Miller says Usman did really good against Kamzat. Correct? He survived the first round and made it a good fight for the rest of the rounds. And that Marty Miller, I'm gonna pin that comment that Marty Miller said. Right, that right there, the comment that I just pinned right now, that right there is the reason why I am going for Kamzat in this fight. Okay, Buckley has never faced a Kamaru Usman. Buckley has never faced a Colby Covington that was in his prime. Can you really sit there and say that Buckley took on the best Colby Covington ever? we're talking about Colby Covington when he beat RDA. That is not the Colby Covington that he beat, and I think you guys could agree with that to a certain extent, right? Well, now he's taking on a Kamaru Usman that has bad knees. I've even made a whole entire live stream, right, talking about how bad his knees are and how crucial and detrimental this could be for this fight. But the reason why he has knee problems is because of his wrestling. And as a result of his years of wrestling, even though it damaged him, it's going to do him very good in this fight. Big Ink says, what's interesting about the Colby fight is that it ended in a doctor's stoppage and Colby had a takedown on Buck. Correct, which means that Usman is also going to have a takedown on Buckley as well. Alariza says, even a car won't stop me from watching Usman tomorrow. Man, you know what? Let me tell you, Alariza, with the things that are going on in your country right now, I'm surprised that you are still watching. But everybody, man, give a prayer to Alariza. Obviously, Iran and Israel are going at war right now, and it is never the fault of the innocent civilians that are involved that have to live in this particular in this particular setting at that, right? Because that's the other news topic at hand is obviously the Israel and the Iran conflict. But yes, okay. So Big Ink says Buck is on the Jake Paul route. He's fighting old guys. Oh man, I don't know about that, man. Prayer hands for Alariza right there. Usman did really good. Oh yeah, I read that's the pinned comment right there. Okay. So yeah, just understand what Marty Miller said right there, right? Because that right there is very crucial to understand this particular matter at hand, right? Usman did really good against Kamzat. And Kamzat right now, you could argue, even if he was to lose to DDP, which I don't think he will. I mean, if you want my official prediction on that, he's going to smash DDP, and it could probably be in the first round for all we know. So don't be surprised with that particular matter at hand. So, okay, let's see here. What else do we have of this particular matter at hand right now? We talked about Rose and Miranda Maverick in the last stream. Obviously, if you want to take a look at the full predictions for the fight card that I did, I'm going to show you the live stream to go to see where that is right here. It was this live stream right here. So it's 3 days ago. This live stream, day 6. Okay, so I just needed to let you guys know this because obviously the title is not the first thing. It's day 6. That's the full card prediction right there if you want to check it out. But it also covers the day 6 of the Los Angeles riots, which at this point right now, I believe is day 9. So Marty Miller says he might hit after rewatching the Usman versus Kamzat fight. It seems like Kamzat gasses out. If he doesn't finish DDP in the first round, I think DDP can win. Well, I tell you what, the one thing that I find very dangerous about DDP is his pace, right? But here's the thing. What if we don't get to see that pace? Now, when Joe Rogan was commentating during the Kevin Holland and the Kamzat fight, I noticed something about the audio that Joe Rogan was talking about. Okay, he mentions how frantic Kamzat walked right through Holland, shot in without any care in the world of breathing, without any care in the world of taking a little bit of rest. None of that. He went and shot in straight away and basically did guerrilla style jiu-jitsu. Now, what do I mean by guerrilla style jiu-jitsu? Well, here's the thing. Jiu-jitsu is not meant to be a guerrilla sport. And I know this from the experience that I had when I trained at Team Alpha Male with the grappling coach at the time, Kenneth Alexander, right? So Kenneth Alexander was my first ever grappling coach when it comes to jiu-jitsu, right? So he was my first grappling coach. And as such, not my first wrestling coach, because remember, I wrestled prior. But starting jujitsu, he was saying that, you know what, you got to slow down, you got to take a breather, you got to think about what you're doing. Kamzat didn't do any of that, right? He didn't do any of that. I like the term guerrilla style, very accurate analogy. Yeah, because that's exactly how I approached my grappling. I got from it towards a wrestling point of view where I shot in and I just went go, go, go. Once I shot in, go, go, go. I went for a transition, go, go, go. After a transition, locking in submission attempts, whether it's arm triangles or anything, right? Even Ezekiel chokes if I was on my back in a full guard position. Whatever it is that I could find, right? It's guerrilla style. There was no thought or process about it. Now, this can absolutely gas you out. That is, if you're Marab, obviously he trains to fight that way. Khabib trains to fight that way. You could argue even Kamzat trains to fight that way, and maybe that's the reason why he gasses out a little bit. But what I'm saying is that I know how good the stamina of DDP is, but will we see that? Because the way that Kamzat fights, we don't know if Kamzat will allow him to see that in any capacity. And my prediction is that I don't think that he wants to even experience the stamina of DDP. Now, look, DDP has a very good stamina. I'm gonna explain why, right? I'm going to give you explicit details why. He lives in South Africa. The part of South Africa that he lives at is at high elevation. So that's like already growing up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Reno, or maybe even Colorado, or what are some other high elevation places, Utah, you name it, right? It's an advantage. Lake Tahoe, right up here north of Sacramento, that's another one. Kamzat did the same thing to Whitaker, just guerrilla blazed him. Yes, so that's exactly what it is, Marty Miller. That's what he needs to do against DDP. Now, with DDP, going back to his stamina, as I mentioned, lives in South Africa, high elevation, his region. On top of that, he trains in hot heat conditions. You guys have seen me in this live stream train in a sauna, right? Just shadow boxing in there. Very simple. I don't got to bring any equipment in there. I don't got to bring any, punching bags or nothing like that. Just go in there by my lonesome, or a bunch of Karens that, will probably tell on me to the front desk. But in any regard, I'll go in there, just start throwing punches, work on some kicks, work on some shooting takedowns or this and that, single legs, all of that, right? Shooting drills to shadow boxing, everything in between with MMA. And then on top of that, maybe even laying on my back and working on some jiu-jitsu drills, just simulating everything in the sauna, right? This is good because what it does is it increases your VO2 max level. So now you got Drickus, who has high elevation, high intense heat training, and then obviously does cold plunges as well. I mean, what athlete doesn't do cold plunges? And you would be foolish to not engage in such, if that were the case in modern times, right? But yeah, man, that's what it is. So, yeah, Marty Miller is laughing at my comment. I know why you're laughing too. You're laughing because we always go back to these people that complain about me in the sauna, right? It's kind of interesting that that's the thing now in my live streams, right? It's kind of like an inside joke that we have because I've taken you guys to some journeys while I was training, at a sauna, and you see how people who are not in MMA or combat sports gym sort of react to it, right? They sort of have a very negative reaction to it in this kind of matter. But yeah, on any regard, yeah, man. So that's what makes DDP's entire cardio really deadly. But at the same time, as deadly as his cardio is, will we see it? And that, I think, is what Kamzat is going to try to prevent. I think he is going to go in there. He's going to blaze him, right? Okay, let's take a look at the mentality of Kamzat. First round as that bell rings. Kamzat hears the bell ring. He's like, oh my God, brother, I am here. I cannot believe it. After COVID, after Ramzan Kadyrov tried to tell me to go back to fight when I tell him I don't want to fight anymore, brother. And then all of a sudden I am sick and then I get this fight, and then I don't get title shot. Then I see DDP in front of me. Okay, we smash, we kill this guy. Ah, Allahu Akbar! I'm telling you, he's gonna be so frantic because he's like thinking to himself, man, you know what, bro? I've been waiting for this. I have been waiting for this, and now he's in front of me. He's gonna go shoot in. Okay, he'll probably open up with a punch, maybe a few kicks, to sort of feel him out a little bit, and then next thing you know, one thing leads to another, and somewhere down the line, DDP is down on the ground. Okay, once he's down on the ground, guess what happens? He's down on the ground, and Kamzat is going to go for a transition. He's going to go for a side control, and then DDP is going to give up his back. And at that point, we're not going to see the explosive and the grinding stamina of DDP. We're not going to see it. That's a possibility. Now, let me know on the chat, guys. Let me know, chat. Do you think that is a possibility? Do you think that's a strong possibility that that could happen? Let me know. Let me know, because I think it does. But in the meantime, let's go back to UFC Atlanta. Okay. Well, we are covering UFC Atlanta, but let's go back to El Ariza says it's hard for me to imagine DDP surviving Kamzat's ground game. Exactly. Exactly, El Ariza, especially in the beginning of the fight, because man, Kamzat is such a fast starter. And Marty Miller says that's definitely a possibility. Yeah, because he's a fast starter, and man, he once he sees DDP in the first round, he's going to be so frantic because it's going to be accumulation of years of waiting and this and that and the other, and now it's finally happening and it's right in front of him. It's like, that 90s song, right? You know what I mean? What was that 90s song by I forgot, man, I forgot the name of the artist. Not that it matters at this point, but it's like a house song. It goes, finally, it's happened to me right in front of my face, and I know I can't hide it. That's how Kamzat is gonna feel when he sees DDP right across the cage. And then he's gonna go, Allahu Akbar! I gotta unalive everybody! I'm telling you, man, he's going to be can't sleep on Kamzat striking either. He switches stances and has power. That's a very good point. Fresh Melon Juice says old school, very nice. What's old school, my man? Let me know what is old school. Are you talking about well, I don't know what you're referring to when you mean old school, but let me know what is very nice. The song. Oh yeah. The song. Finally, it's happened to me. Yeah. That's how Kamzat is going to feel. But obviously, Kamzat is not going to walk out to no song like that. I mean, the dude walks out to like Chechnyan Nasheed Islamic songs, which are pretty badass, by the way, right? I looked at the song of the dude that does his song, right? It's like a guitarist, like a Chechnyan guitarist. He's singing about like the war in Chechnya in the 90s. I mean, it is like, it's war music to the core for sure. But yeah, man, we'll talk more about the fights, but let's take a look at some of the protests that are going on in Atlanta right now. No Kings planned across the U.S. Okay, let's see what this is right here.
Personally, I go with Sparkle. It cleans everyday messes, and it won't clean out your wallet. As protests are planned for the president's birthday on Saturday across Georgia and the nation. Nearly every major city in our state has a demonstration plan.
Atlanta News First Anna Murphy is live in downtown Atlanta near the state capitol, where one of those protests is set to take place. Anna.
Good evening, Blair. Yes, the No Kings protest will be held at Liberty Plaza.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the mileage between Liberty Plaza and where the arena is in Atlanta. Okay, I'm going to look at the okay, what is the venue here for UFC? What is the venue? It is I think it's the All-State Arena, isn't it? Let's take a look at the oops. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know if you guys can still hear me real quick. Let me make sure that I have the volume going here. Just want to make sure that I have the volume going. Okay, okay, good, good. Yeah, because my battery for my headset just died. So. Okay, okay, good, good. Okay, okay, so that's good. Okay. All right. So, All-State Arena. Let's see what the mileage. Oh, no, 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 no. Wait, wait. What is the facility in where this event is taking place? UFC Atlanta. Where is this taking place at? Because I want to see how far the State Farm Arena. Okay. State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena. Okay. Wow. Okay. So the protest, check this out, guys. Okay. Alariza, everything okay with you? Did you see the attack on Iran? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, obviously give, prayer emojis to Alariza because, whether you are from one side or the other in this political matter at hand, it is always the innocent civilians that get caught up in these crossfires of political instability and especially in a volatile region where he's at. So speaking of volatile, this is where the protest is at versus where the UFC card is going to be taking place. So keep that in mind, okay? For now, everything is okay, but yesterday I heard a lot of sounds. Yeah, I hope I saw it. I hope this war ends. Inshallah, inshallah. So it's 1 mile from each other, right? So once this fight is over, right, all the athletes could literally either join or see the protest in front of them as it is happening. So just a little interesting fact. Okay, but let's go back to this news clip.
It's right next to the state capitol here in downtown Atlanta. That happens on Saturday beginning at 10 in the morning for a couple of hours. And organizers have...
Alariza says, and for the record, 80% of our Iranians are against the war and the Islamic regime. Yeah, from what I heard, yeah. And that's kind of why the Prime Minister of Israel was sort of urging the Iranians to, stand up against their government. Now, I don't know how real or how much of a possibility that is. And I'm sure that even though there are Iranians that are against the regime, there are probably a lot of Iranians that are also against Israel in the particular matter of how they are treating the Palestinians and even Iranians themselves. But I know Iran has already responded with a retaliatory attack. And man, yeah, they hit a few commanding officers in the Israeli military. So that's yeah, that's a pretty serious comeback. But I don't see any end to that, unfortunately. So yeah, Fresh Melon Juice says good, and Fresh Melon Juice says we know. Okay, so here we go with the news clip.
Capacity at Liberty Plaza is 5,000, and they expect at least 5,000 people, they say. From Los Angeles, California, to Brookhaven, Georgia, anti-ICE protests turned violent this week.
Oh, wow, look at this.
Of Georgia
Hold on.
and a number of other organizations. Now, the ACLU ICE protests turned violent this week. Now, the ACLU of Georgia and a number of other...
My man stepped on the cop car like he just walked in the octagon. You know what I'm talking about. You walk in the octagon, you're like, yes, you're bouncing up and down on it, like feeling the ground or the mat. And yeah, that's how he felt. He's like, yeah, I'm in the octagon now.
Organizations hope to hold a peaceful protest in Atlanta this Saturday called No Kings.
We should be adhering to the will of the people and not adhering to the will of any one particular person in government.
Sarah Hunt Blackwell represents the American Civil Liberties Union of Georgia and said No Kings is a national... Day of defiance to reject authoritarianism in our federal government.
We're seeing a lot of executive orders come down that discriminate against people. We see slashes to Medicaid. We see people literally being taken off of the streets by ICE agents.
The ACLU said this weekend's protests will be peaceful, but if the past violence is a predictor of future behavior, President Trump has concerns.
And these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They're agitators. They're paid.
Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr also took a stand on violent protesters this week, warning that criminals will be prosecuted.
Americans have the right to peacefully protest, but no American has the right to destroy property, loot businesses, or attack police officers.
Now, I also checked with Governor Kemp's office about this weekend's protests. They said they will be monitoring them and other activities very closely and take appropriate action to keep the peace if necessary. Live in downtown Atlanta, Adam Murphy.
All right, so now I want you to take a look at the side right here, right? So look, these are the other coverages that they have for the protests that are going on. So they got a protest in Minnesota. They got a protest in Philadelphia. There's one in Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, just everywhere, right? These protests are everywhere. So it's crazy. This is a crazy day. I'm going to tell you, right? Hey, you know what? They have a protest going on in downtown Sacramento as well. But I tell you what, if I was not covering the fights today, I would probably go down there and cover it. I mean, why not? It's free content right there, right? They're doing in Akron, Ohio, too. Yes, so I was going to ask Marty Miller that as well, because obviously Ohio, is the Midwest of America. There's always a saying that goes, right? Whenever there's these types of protests going on, try doing that in a small town, right? And what that expression usually means is when you go to a small town, especially in rural America, you're basically dealing with a lot of people that are strapped, okay? People that own guns, people that are Second Amendment rights advocates. So therefore, they're just going to be strapped all together, right? And on top of that, sometimes pro-military or ex-military people that can, handle and do business where they need to and wherever they see fit, right? So that's why I was kind of curious to ask if there was anything going on in Ohio, because obviously that's a little bit different from the other blue states, such as, Austin, Texas, you can kind of add into the blue state now. Los Angeles obviously has been a blue state since its very beginning. Well, not really, maybe not in the Reagan era, but when he was governor at least. But at least, yeah, for the most part, it's always been blue. New York has always been blue. Obviously, Atlanta has always been blue. Chicago has always been blue Democrat. But Ohio, that tends to be more of the conservative base of America. Also, Iowa as well. All the Midwest states, for that particular matter at hand. So I was just always curious, how that would work out in that part of the world. But I guess today we're about to find out, because obviously they're doing that in Akron, Ohio today as well. So, I just thought it's interesting how close the protests are from UFC Atlanta to the Liberty Plaza Center that they have going on in Atlanta, right? And by the way, that alone, you should like and subscribe, because there is no other MMA content creator in the space that's giving you that type of detail right now. Obviously, there's the Mercedes-Benz stadium that they have in Atlanta. So, Signia Hilton, Atlanta, Georgia. That's probably where the athletes are staying at. So, okay. So, all right, let's take a look at the rest of the cards. Obviously, Cody Garbrandt, fight that I'm going to closely look at. Also, Marty Miller has, a close correlation to him as well. Obviously, he's an Ohio guy. Cody Garbrandt is a Sacramento guy. He trains out here. He's trained with all of my friends, with all of my buddies. He's been very good to all of them. He's been, he lived in my homeboy Eric Trilogy's house. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Eric Trilogy, a buddy of mine that I did jiu-jitsu with in Team Alpha Male, he is now the nutritionist for Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and Conor McGregor all rolled into one, right? So when Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, and Jake Paul went to the inauguration, he wrote on the caption saying something to the effect of, hey, look, these are my 3 clients all rolled into one, right? They are all here together. So I thought that was, pretty interesting, right? Not a lot of people could, really say that. Also on the middleweight division, you got Mansoor Abdul Malik taking on Cody Brundage. Sorry, I was going to call him Cody Garbrandt, but Cody Brundage, the other Cody, the bigger Cody at that, right? So Mansoor Abdul Malik undefeated. I think he's going to remain doing so. I think Cody was just sent here to, test him, right? Just like how he was sent to test Bo Nickel. Well, now Mansoor Abdul Malik is now right up there, right? And once he gets past that, then that's where they start matching him up with the bigger middleweights, such as Sean Strickland is right up there, Rainier, De Ritter, all of these top middleweights. Alonzo Menfield taking on the undefeated Umar Sy. So that's going to be an interesting one. A card opener, by the way. So from the prelims, you got Paul Craig, okay, fighting all the way up top in the prelims main event. Okay, the lack of a better term. And how about that? Even lower than that is Michael Chiesa and Court McGee, 2 veterans right here. Malcolm Wellmaker, 9-0 versus Chris Matino. Again, brought here, just like Cody Brundage was brought here for Abdul Malik to test these new guys. Then you got Cody Durden, a guy who was sent to test Makayev. Now he's here to test Jose Ochoa, 7-1. Ricky Simone, bantamweight division, taking on Cameron Smotherman. Philip Rowe. Ooh, this is an interesting matchup, right? One of my friends, Idris Wasi, trains with Philip Rowe. Matter of fact, let's take a look at some social media footages of Philip Rowe here, if we can. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see. All right, so obviously this is Philip Rowe with his face-off yesterday. Let's take a look at, all right, man, time to eat. You fighting this short guy, you know he's going to try and get you on the ground. Yeah, more than likely. Let's go, bro. Praying for you. May you fight better, powerfully, and you have before, and God grant you to win. The champ is here. And then here's my boy Idris. He says, damn, you looking healthy and strong, replenished. And I like the way you are towering over him. You already look more dominant. It's going to be a fun fight tomorrow. Also, he says, also, you're looking so pumped. I can definitely see your growth. You've been doing your push-ups for sure. All right. So who else? Who else is in this card right now? And then right afterwards, we'll probably preview the upcoming fights. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Cody would be great with a better chin. Yeah. You know what? The thing is that I think he deteriorated his chin over all the years with the sparring that he's done with TJ Dillashaw, with Chad Menez, all these Team Alpha Male guys, and then just the wars that he goes through in the cage, I think obviously didn't help as well. Okay, so moving down from the Philip Rowe fight. Okay, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. No one really cares, but okay. Yeah. That's the entire fight card right there. Was the virtual trip to Juma one-time thing? A virtual Oh, okay. You're asking about Juma. Yeah, you know what? I don't feel the need to. I've done it a few times now on the live stream, and I'm glad that you actually appreciate it. I've actually had a few people tell me that as well. I don't know if I want to do it every time, only because I don't know. It just sometimes there's just not the right time or the need for it. Sometimes I go to Juma in different circumstances where I'm coming from one place to another, getting from one place to another, and then trying to get there. So, I may not be live streaming at the time. And then those times where I actually did bring you to Juma, I was already live streaming, and I was like, well, you know what? I have a choice. I can either, just continue the live stream, while going to Juma, just kind of make content out of it. I'm here anyway, or not live stream at all. So it was just one of those type of choices in that particular matter at hand. But that's why it's the most epic mixed martial arts channel in YouTube right now, because you never know where I'm going to go. You never know who I'm going to run across. For all you know, I could probably randomly get into a street fight, one of these days on live camera, for all you know, because, there's some crazy people out here in Sacramento. But no, of course, we hope that that's not the case. But you know what I mean. I'm only speaking in jokes and speaking in a form of entertainment. But yeah, nonetheless, it's different. You're right. Yeah, I try to be different than everybody else. I mean, obviously, I've also done live stream workout sessions, right? Like, there's not a lot of MMA YouTubers that do that, right? Like, you see MMA Guru, he says, oh, well, I'm a Chad, this and that, look at my shoulders, or this and that, look at my arms, I'm getting big, or this and that. Yet you see him on the pads with Cameron Simon in South Africa, and he looks like this. This is MMA Guru style. That's his style, right? And we're talking just boxing, right? You know what I mean? I never even threw any kicks, didn't try to learn any takedowns, but yet he's the MMA guru, okay? He's the MMA guru. No, but I ain't hating or not, and it's a different lane, right? We're all different. I'm not going to bag on him being different. I think it is different being the biggest MMA streamer, and yet you've never had an MMA fight. But credit to him, he does try now. He does train a little bit, at least when he was in South Africa. I don't know if he continued doing that in London. But that's the thing, right? Like, you live in London, there's a lot of good boxing gyms, okay? Way better boxing gyms than they do have MMA gyms, but they have top MMA gyms as well, right? Across the country, not just in London, but he doesn't go and engage upon those things, right? He knows Tom Aspinall now. Maybe he could go train with Tom Aspinall, but maybe the reason why he doesn't is because he lives in London and Tom is all the way up north. So obviously that would be, yeah. Guru mostly trash fighters. Yeah, well, that's actually not the part that I'm against, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that I would say that I don't agree with MMA Guru about, but trashing fighters, I think he does that in a very theatrical manner. Like, if you see me trash a fighter or talk bad about a fighter or this and that, you can tell that it's genuine, because I'm not just trying to say that to elicit some sort of response. Whereas with him, I think that is his whole main goal and prerogative, is to do exactly that, right? To elicit some kind of negative or positive response, depending on his mood of the day, or depending on his feelings of trying to attack one person or the other. But on any regard, yeah, we got about 5 minutes. I just wanted to make this for about an hour. Let's take a look at what is up to come after this week's UFC. So obviously it's UFC Atlanta this week. Next week it's going to be Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Okay, Khalil Roundtree, former title challenger, took on Alex Pereira. Did pretty decent against Alex Pereira, to say the least, right? Jamal Roundtree, former world champion at that, so looking to redeem himself from what I believe is a 2-fight losing streak right now, and he does not want to make it to 3, because if Khalil Roundtree does make it to give him a 3-fight losing streak, and Khalil Roundtree remains and stays in the relevance of the top 205 division, because he went 4 rounds with Alex Pereira. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Alariza says, what are your thoughts about his allegations about John Jones? So when he says that, what allegations of John Jones being a homosexual, well, you know what? That's just, for lack of a better term, it's low-hanging fruit. It's immature stuff. Like, look, man, let's be honest about this, right? Let's live in reality. Okay, is Elton John a homo? Yes, we can say that for a fact he is, because we know that he is, right? We're in 2025, where people are shameless, people have no morals, and if people are going to come out and be GAY, they're going to tell you, right? They're not going to make any bones about it, but they're also not going to make any bones about it if they are not. And obviously, yeah, you know, John Jones has children, okay? He has a wife and kids. That's more than what MMA Guru can say, okay? Because you know what? MMA Guru don't got none of that. He don't got nobody. He don't got a wife, don't got a kid. Or I don't know, maybe he does, but we don't know. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it, right? Because the way that he has to maintain his empire right now, and I know this because you see the frequency that I go and do live streams, the frequency that I at least try to drop some videos, although lately the frequency of the videos aren't the same as I would with my live stream, because live streams are just a little bit easier. But nonetheless, the consistency that you need to be a top YouTuber, okay, it's going to take you away from a lot of things. Now, look, before I got into YouTube, I've already established a certain life for myself that I've already been maintaining. I just happen to add YouTube on top of it. Whereas with MMA Guru, he made his whole entire life with YouTube, by YouTube, and therefore he has to be maintained by YouTube, and that's that. Alariza says, because of the drugs and alcohol. I don't know what you mean by that specifically. What do you mean by drugs and alcohol? Are you talking about MMA Guru, or are you talking about John Jones? Let me know on the comment section below what you mean. But yeah, that is the main event for that upcoming week. And then obviously right after that is International Fight Week, with the vacant 155 belt being challenged by Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, while Islam moves up to 170. And that would be the conclusion of UFC's month in June. And then obviously there is July fights going on. 317, that's for International Fight Week. July, wow, how about this? After the 28th, the couple of weeks of July, yeah, like there's not going to be any fights in the first month of July, obviously, because it's going to be July 4th. But Derek Lewis and Taliesin Teixeira is going to main event July 12th. And in 318, it's Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier July 19th, which is the same day as Manny Pacquiao versus Barrios and Dubois versus Usyk on the boxing side of things. So quite an interesting card that they have for UFC 318. So Marvin Vettori and Brandon Allen are the co-main event. Gunnar Nelson, how about this? Okay, third to the last fight with Neil Magny. So very much top of the card right there. Islam Dualatov taking on Adam Fuget in the welterweight division. And then welcoming back Ikram Ali Askarov taking on Bruno Ferreira. Jimmy Crute taking on Marcin. Kyler Phillips, okay, a whole bunch of other names, yeah, so, and then after that, there's ABC on, yeah, ABC with Robert Whittaker and Rainier de Ridder. I think that's a Saudi Arabia fight, the July 26th, but on any regard, guys, I will be back for the UFC live stream of Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Don't forget to tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, inshallah. And please check out the new video that I got going on right now. This is the new video that I have going on. Let me show you right here. It is what is this video called? Right here, Canelo versus Crawford. Okay, the psychological and technical side of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I will see you in the next one, inshallah.